What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. In today's Business Breakthrough, I sit down with Erik Joseph. Now, this is part two for him. This is our second breakthrough session. So the first one was really helping him identify his biggest challenge, which was niching down, learning to say no, stop taking every job, get really great at one. Awesome. Now we're into team building. And this was a really good one because we went over team roles, team structure, and really identifying exactly what we're looking for, so he can make better hiring decisions. And really, it opens up the labor pool as well when you don't have super high expectations in terms of skill. Instead, you can hire for personality and train for skill. So really awesome business breakthrough here that I believe that you are going to get a lot out of and enjoy. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. We got Erik Joseph back with the name no one forgets, Screaming Eagle Painting. Good to have you back, man. Let's just dive in. The last time we spoke, we were really diving into getting you more dialed in work, right? So the big issue was you were kind of taking all sorts of jobs.
I was doing everything, yeah.
Everything. And
everything.
Anything. I mean, if they called you and needed the toilet repaired, you'd probably go.
I got a plumber for that.
There you go. Now we're at a point, hopefully, where you've transitioned out of that. So tell me about what's changed since the last time we spoke, man.
Yeah, so I ended up signing up with Home Advisor. I'm kind of utilizing them right now as just another kind of like subliminal marketing for myself, brand reassurance for people kind of. Honestly, with the leads and stuff like that, the opportunities, it's not working out for me, but it's not anything against Home Advisor or how they operate. They're doing exactly what they said they were going to do for the cost that they said they were going to do it. I know there's a lot of guys out here that are like big time, like anti-Home Advisor. And it's like, dude, these guys are doing exactly what they say they're going to do for you. They're doing for you. So
it's up to you to, to take that and turn it into something. That's your responsibility. Right. So let's talk about what's changed in terms of the way you do business. Has anything changed, or
I mean, so I pretty much pulled the plug and hit the axe on every single thing except for interior painting.
Have you been saying no to people?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Yeah. Which I have no problem doing. Like I like helping everybody, but it's like at this point, in my life and business, it's like, I'm not trying to take on anything that I don't want to do, really, so it's like, it is what it is.
Have you hired anyone since we spoke?
No. And that's what I want to talk to you about today is like, I need help. Like if I want to keep this ball rolling the way that I'm going right now, like, because I'm just solo right now. So it's like, I'm overworking myself mentally and physically.
Right.
So now like I need to hire. So now I'm trying to figure out, what direction do I need to go and how can I really get some good people in here? Because like we talked a little bit on the phone earlier, like we still have mandates up here and things like that in Connecticut. Not a huge deal, but it's like everybody that's gotten laid off, or sent home from their job, like now they want to come back to work for somebody else.
Great labor pool.
Dude, an astronomical amount of money though, which is the issue,
Well, like, they want more than what they're getting from unemployment, right?
Right, exactly. So it's like, I'm throwing out starting people at $17 an hour, and people are like, oh, I make $17.50 right now and I do half the work. And it's like, okay, that's
well, let's kind of dial in, because hiring usually is the topic we talk about when it comes, because that's the biggest issue with contractors, right? If you had great help, the rest would be easy. We could just sell and so it's worth talking about again and again and again, because the strategy clearly isn't the same across the board for different areas, different types of, demographics. But I will say this, when you find the strategy and you have the system, you never have to change it, because any good system brings you a predictable result, right? So if you have a system for how you paint houses that, you do ceilings first, trim, walls, doors, like whatever that system is, you're not going to change it if it's the best system. So that's what you need to first identify is what is your specific system for acquiring good help.
Sure.
Now, chances are you probably don't have one. So we'll discuss that, but the big thing is, and I would have loved to discuss this before, but remember what you were doing before was setting yourself up for failure with taking on so many jobs, because then you'd have to find somebody that could do so many different things.
For sure.
So I love that now you've niched down to just an interior painting company. So let's talk about it, right? So the first step of hiring is identifying it's a structure in your company, right? We need to identify what is our it, man. Please do. What our ideal team structure is, our chain of command. So the best thing, you're taking notes right now, is draw a circle at the top of the page. Okay. Draw a circle, and inside the circle, I'm doing it with you so we can go along here. Inside your circle, write me, M-E. Okay. And then what I want you to do, kind of like you're drawing a stick figure, is draw a line right under that circle. So you should have it should look like a lollipop. You have a circle and then a line. Nice lollipop, dude. All right. Then draw a horizontal line. Okay. Where the end of the line stops. That line you just drew, draw a horizontal line. So it should be like an upside down T. Okay. Beautiful. Yep. Just like that. Now draw 3 lines, one at the very end of that, one in the middle, and then one at the far right. Okay. Dude, you're awesome. All right. So draw 3 more circles at the bottom of each of those 3 lines. Okay. And then inside the circles, I want you to put a number 1, a number 2, and a number 3. Okay. So you should have, that's it. Yep. So you have you at the top. You have a 1, a 2, and a 3. Okay. The ideal residential house painting company has 3 to 4 painters working on a job. I mean, 2 painters is a little too much, because taking on full repaints is a lot for 2 guys.
Yeah,
you've done it. You're doing it by yourself. You know what it's like.
Right.
So imagine having 1 more person, then imagine having 2. Now, it's not so much the fact that you can get jobs done. It's more about the morale. I care about morale more than anything. I'll pay more to make sure my guys don't feel overwhelmed. Because that means that I can add more to their plate and know that the workload gets distributed a little bit less than if there was less guys, which is important to me. We don't need to run our guys to the ground. It's our job as business owners to create a system that creates efficient work, not, 100% on Monday and Tuesday and then declining 20, 10, 5% on Friday. That's inconsistent business, and you're going to see it. So we need to set the tone immediately of what we're looking for. So I like to use franchises as an example, right? So let's say I came into you and said, Erik, you're going to buy premium painting. And let's say you were a franchisee. This is what I would tell you. I'd say, look, here's our system. You, in this stage of the business, early on, right off the bat, you are the leader of the jobs. You are the person that does all the project management right off the bat. You're the guy that goes in, talks to the customer, creates the plan for the day, oversees the job, makes sure everything's going well. You're the guy that knows all aspects of the flow of the paint job, right? Yeah. So the flow of the paint job is essentially, knowing all aspects of spraying, cutting, rolling, how long things take, all the different aspects of house painting, right? That's what you would expect the most experienced individual to know. Okay. Right. The flow of the paint job. So that's you right now.
Right.
Now, the next level, okay, is somebody that doesn't really need to know the flow of the paint job, but is a really good, what we call in the painting industry, a mechanic, right? Somebody that really just knows all aspects of brushing, rolling, spraying. This is like somebody that is your counterpart, right? Somebody that you can set in a direction and say, all right, man, take care of this. I have to go do an estimate. Okay.
Sure. Right.
So that would be that number 1 that we just circled on the page, right? So if you want to draw a little note there, just say self-sufficient on the job, right? That's a little note that we're going to put. That is self-sufficient. That doesn't need to be told what the next step is. Doesn't need to go to you for instruction. Knows that, okay, I'm going to cut this in, then I got to roll this and do this. Can take, really the idea is for them to be able to take instruction and then deliver the result. Okay. They're expected to deliver that result when you return, right? So do this, do this, do this. Okay. Another caveat is he is the crew leader. So I want you to put crew leader right there. Okay. Crew leader. Okay. So that's your number one guy, right? So your crew leader is self-sufficient. He is somebody that can communicate. So put a little note there, good communication skills. And that's not only with the customer, man, that's with you, right?
Right.
Making
Absolutely.
sure that, hey, how's the job going? Going great. We're doing this, and this. Okay.
Yep.
And you're challenging him. What's next? Oh, well, we got to make sure we do this, and this. Okay. And then, okay, is the customer happy? Well, I didn't talk to her yet. Well, make sure you go tell her what's going on next. Right. So this is your person that is representing you while you're out doing estimates and growing the business.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Number one guy is the most important of the entire operation for this to work.
Right.
You need a number one guy. Okay. So let's assign a dollar amount right now, just so we have a figure. What would you pay for freedom?
I mean, dude, $30 an hour. You know
Right?
what I'm saying? Like, it's
Right.
too easy to just put a
Right.
number
So
on that.
somebody that you would just be comfortable with, like he knows how to cut, he knows how to brush, he knows how to
Right.
spray. He's a good guy. He comes in on time. He communicates well. He speaks to the homeowner properly. He takes ownership. Okay. So you're saying you would put $30 on freedom.
Right.
Love that. Okay. So you got $30 right there. Okay. That's great because you're willing to pay for freedom. And I'm using that word not lightly.
Yeah, no, it's a real
Okay?
word. Like, and
It's
that's
a
one of the
real
reasons
word.
why,
That's what you're paying for. There's
sure. And
really no dollar amount.
that's why I'm trying to keep the wheels, spinning on this, because
Keeping
I
it
was
getting.
kind of at that point,
Right.
in the beginning of 2020, the end of 2019, like I was kind of at this point, but I didn't have my number one guy yet. Like I kind of just had, guys that just wanted to get paid the minimum.
So our job, what we're doing is we're first creating the structure, and then we're identifying exactly what we're looking for.
Okay.
To build your business. You need to know exactly what you're looking for. So we have some traits here: leadership qualities, self-sufficient, communicator, okay, presentable, all these things, right? We call these guys unicorns. You got to go unicorn hunting, dude. You got to find a unicorn. You can't find a regular horse. I call them caballos, man.
Right.
The idea is to get as many unicorns in your stable as possible. That takes a while. It took me 5 years. I have 6 of them. Okay. So they take a while, but you build one after the other. Right. So the idea right now is to just make sure that you know exactly what you're looking for, because we're building an organization. What's an organization? It's organized, and you got to have these specific traits. So when you're doing these interviews, you can say, okay, this guy's a number one. I'm not ready for a number one. This guy's a number 2. This guy's a number 3. And I'm building my team, right? Okay. So you know what you're looking for. So again, this all has to do with expectations. You might get an interview with somebody that doesn't have number one quality. And if you're not dialed in enough on what you're looking for, you might let that person go when they would be a great number 3.
Right.
So that's where this comes in. That's why it's important. So let's look at number 2. Okay. So number 2 is your number 2 to the crew leader, right? So this is somebody that's going to be a subordinate of the person that you put in charge. So number 1 has to follow directions. Okay. This is somebody that follows directions very well. Okay. And we're going to get into this in a second, how we can tell if somebody's going to follow instructions, follow directions before they even step foot on the job. Number 2, again, and we're not going general qualifications. Got to look presentable, got to smell decent. Obviously those are self-explanatory. You're going to know, you're going to do that. I'm talking about character traits. Number 2, he follows directions. Number 2, self-motivated. That's obviously across the board, but I just want to mention that here. Self-motivated, has a greater why rather than just making money. So 100%. That's a general trait that'll be for everybody across the board. But again, I just want to mention it. And now in terms of skill set, does he need to know how to spray, brush, roll? No, that's for your crew leader and you. Right. You guys do that. You need somebody that's going to supplement your skill set, brushing and rolling. That's it. Really. Prepping, brushing, and rolling, right? Somebody with medium, intermediate skill set. Okay. Maybe just got into the trade a couple years ago. Definitely. Or even somebody that, painted for themselves at their house. That's just a worker, just somebody that's a worker, that you could tell that they have that work ethic. That's what we're looking for in number 2. So what's the dollar amount that you would pay a number 2 that has intermediate painting skill, but that's a worker that's going to show up on time, that's self-motivated?
That'd be like $18 to $20.
Cool. Good pay scale. That'll get somebody out of bed. 18 to 20 bucks an hour. So you want to write that down there. Now, number 3. This is my favorite because the labor pool is huge for a number 3. We're not looking for a painter.
Right.
You don't
No,
need
right.
one.
I just need a body that's going
You
to
need
show up
a
and
body
stay
that's
motivated all day.
100%. That's
Right.
motivated. I just got one, man. This kid's awesome. He's excited. He's motivated. He wants to learn. He's a sponge.
Awesome.
He shows up on time. He communicates well. I mean, boom, pick of the litter, man. This guy's great. And he's never painted for a painting company before.
Yep.
Hello.
That's
it
awesome.
was easy to find. Okay.
Yep.
Your labor pool is massive. This is the last guy we want to find. So really, this is going to be the easiest part of your hiring is just finding that body, right?
Yep.
Again, general qualifications, self-motivated, communicates well. Like, remember, communication is going to be the massive factor, right? Because if they don't communicate well with you, they're not going to communicate well with their team. And when team doesn't communicate, frustration occurs.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay? Morale drops. Right? Communication in any team environment needs to be supreme. You got to have guys that communicate. So your number 3 guy, what's that dollar amount that you would pay for that newbie apprentice that wants to learn the trade?
I mean, dude, at this point, I think we talked about it a little bit before. I mean, I'm kind of trying to start everybody at like 17 bucks an hour. You know what I'm saying? So really 15 to 17, because I'm always going to I'm always trying to beat, you know, if the government's saying we need to pay people 15 bucks an hour, I'm going to beat that, you know?
Love that. Okay. So great. So you're looking for a number 3 at 15 to 17. Okay. So now we know what we're looking for, right? You can't start, you got to start there. What am I looking for? Okay. Now let's talk about really we'll go back real quick and then we'll talk about how to find these individuals. So you're at the top still, right? With you being in this circle that we just created, you're part of production. That can't go on forever. The vision should be is that your number 1 should bump up, right, to project manager. Your number 2 moves over to crew leader. Your number 3 moves over to and create a name. You could say team lead, and and then you hire a new apprentice. Now you're fully independent.
Right.
When you have a structure like this, everyone has responsibilities, right? So what your job should be is, for you, you pick up the paint, you order the paint. I still order the paint. Even at this level of my business.
Yeah,
that's something that I do.
I'm on the same page as you. Is like I've already seen issues with wrong paint being ordered, so it's like
I like to just do that, and I do it on my phone. It's not that hard, easy for me to do, but I do that. But there's other responsibilities that I had when I was in your position that I handed off. So you know, going to the jobs first thing in the morning, going over the scope with the customer, doing the final checklist, collecting the check, making sure that the guys had paint, making sure that, you know, all the job was running smoothly. Now, yes, is it kind of silly for somebody to be in a project management role with 1 crew? Sure, but it's practice for when you expand to 2 crews. So they're going to have that same level. And then, you know, what I did in my business is I took that individual that was a project manager and I made him a supervisor, because now he's supervising both crews. And when he's not helping out on the jobs, he's doing estimates. And those estimates are him sending me the information. I'm creating the pricing and I'm following up the customer. So we have this kind of like system where he's not just a salesperson / supervisor. He jumps in and helps when we need. So this wild card role that I've created for him really works. You know, and I found that commission salesperson in our industry under $1 million in revenue isn't efficient.
Right.
It's just not. I mean, to give someone 10% of your, you know, your sales, it's just not worth it until you get 3 crews and you're hitting 1.2, 1.5 million. That's when it would be beneficial, but under $1 million, no reason to have a commission salesperson. Pay someone hourly at some point to do estimates, but you don't even need to worry about that right now because you're going to be doing it. You know, you'll be doing the estimates. So we've created a structure. So how do we attract these individuals, right? Well, what we learned about leads and Home Advisor is really, like you said, that's another area where people can just find you, right? You pay to be on their website. Okay. You know what I'm going to say. If everyone knew that you had, if every solid applicant that fit this description knew that Screaming Eagle Painting was paying $30 an hour for the best possible applicant, if everyone knew that, dude, you'd be flooded with applications. You'd be getting
banged down, dude.
You'd be getting crushed. The reality is the situation is no one knows you. So
exactly.
That's what it is. So it's not a matter of they're not out there. We know that these applicants are out there.
For sure.
It's just a matter of them being able to find you. when that little window of opportunity opens where they actually set aside some time to seek for the job. Because some people might be working for somebody and want something better.
Yep.
And that might come from a moment of frustration.
Right.
Where they're just looking at their job. They don't like their boss and they go in their car and they're just looking for jobs. Are you there? Probably not right now. We've all been there.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's been there. Or it's the unemployed person that checks every day.
Right.
Still, you're nowhere to be found.
Yep.
So the reality of the situation is we got to pay to play.
Yep.
Again, how much is freedom worth to you? I'll spend up to $1,000 for a perfect applicant.
Sure.
Okay. I could care less. Like to me, that's the best investment in your business is spending money on people.
Okay.
Because that's the best. Whoever pays the most is going to get the best applicant, obviously. Right. But it's not so much getting that person to work for you. It's actually being out there to recruit that person. Right. So we have a couple of options, right? Like you said, number one would be a paid place like Indeed, right?
Yep.
Okay. So number one, Indeed. Number two, Craigslist, of course. Number three, ZipRecruiter is pretty popular. Number four, Facebook. Okay, right there. That's it. That's all you need. Anybody who's anybody that needs a job is going to look at one of these four places.
Right.
And if, you don't want word of mouth jobs. You don't want.
No, I know. I kind of tried that, but it
never works.
It never works out. So.
And the reason why is because, we want intent-based applicants that are motivated enough to look for work.
100%. Yep.
We don't want, hey, do you know anyone that's looking for a job? Yeah, I think my friend is. We don't want that. Like, that's not, we want somebody that earned the job because they'll keep it if they earn it.
Exactly.
But if it was kind of like the story of a kid who gets his first job because his dad got him in, he doesn't value it as much as somebody that actually had to walk his butt in there, fill out an application, call and follow up, ask if, he doesn't value it as much as the kid who just got the job because he knew somebody. Right.
Very true.
So we want to work that individual in, but we got to create a process no matter how desperate we are. Dude, I was so desperate for employees last week. I did a podcast. If you want to listen to it, it was the previous one here. I explained what happened. I was down 3 guys.
Sure.
I won't go into detail. Down 3 guys.
Yep.
I had a weekend to hire 2 because we're just so slammed.
Right.
Although I had to hire them fast, I didn't compromise my system. I still did the phone interview. I still did it. I actually, remember I told you I did a Zoom interview. Face-to-facer. Okay.
Yep.
I had to do the face-to-facer. Right. Which is, to me, still as valuable as sitting someone. I say in the podcast, the only difference is I couldn't smell them.
Right.
So I was banking that they didn't smell bad.
Right.
but I didn't compromise the system. That's important, right? So we don't want to compromise the system. So even though you need somebody, you got to have that system. So let's talk about that system real quick. I'm just going to grab a water. Go listening. Ahead, man. As long as you can hear me. So what is that first step for you? Before what you did, I kind of just want to know what you did before so I can maybe see if there's some holes in your current process.
So before, I was pretty much just Facebook only. Facebook, whether it was on their jobs tab or I would ask for referrals from friends, you know what I'm saying? And then at that point I would get on a phone call. Pretty much everybody around here, it's not far to travel anywhere around here. So it's like, I'm going to go have coffee with these people or something after and kind of sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and kind of figure out, are you motivated and what are your goals? Because really that's huge on my list of everything is like, if you don't want more in life, but $30 an hour, like you're not my guy, dude. Like you're thinking too small still, like you're capping yourself out. So it's like, I want to have these conversations with these people to actually see and feel out, like, are they going to be long-term motivated or are they going to be short-term motivated on money?
That's right. Yeah, so. Absolutely. And you set those parameters early of what your expectations are. And I think that it starts with your questions, but let's go back because the reality situation is we have to get our information out there that filters out individuals as best as we can. Now that starts with your ad. Now, those of you who've heard me talk about my ad and you may have seen it, really it's an ad that just pretty much emphasizes that we are looking for motivated individuals. It's not the typical, hey, I'll read one right here, man. I have it right in front of me. There was a just kind of give you an example, what's on Craigslist right now, just other contracting trades, but it's all the same.
Sure.
Lawn care worker in need of an experienced lawn care worker for residential work, must be familiar with the string trimmer, edger, and blower. That would be similar to saying, hey, need a painter, must know how to use a paintbrush.
Right.
And it's like, if that's what you put out to the world, that's what you're looking for, that's what you'll get. You'll get a human being that knows how to use a paintbrush, but you didn't ask anything about the personality. So if you're getting those results, that's why, because that's what you put out to the world. I use the example of dating. If you said looking for a female, dude, can you imagine what you're going to get?
Right.
I mean, you're going to get everything, right? But if you say looking for a female with, with a great personality, infectious smile, loves to, hang out with friends, like you narrow down the applicants all the way down to exactly what you're looking for.
Sure.
Same thing with hiring. So let me give you an example of what I put out there, and I'm just going to read it briefly. I say, if you're the painter we're looking for, you are described by your references as very neat and clean, friendly, enthusiastic, conscientious, holding yourself to high standards, as well as courteous, mature, and a relaxed team player.
I like that.
Just like that. So can you imagine somebody who is just interested in money, doesn't really have these values, doesn't hold themselves to a high standard, just sees painting as, painting, something to pay the bills. Would they even apply to this?
Probably not, because they're reading it and they're like, I'm not even trying to deal with that shit, dude. Like,
thank you.
Exactly. And that's what it is.
Exactly, dude. They're just like, I don't want any part of this.
Right.
This sounds like they're going to make me actually work. And not just work. I'm going to have to fake a smile. Right.
Right. Exactly.
Good. So that was my first filtering out process.
Yep.
Anyone that has ever applied for my company has to read that first.
Sure.
So they know what the standard is here. Okay. That's just one part of it. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Right. Step 2 is actually having an internal application to fill out. Right. None of this says anything about skills. This first thing, nothing about skills. It doesn't even say about rolling, cutting, brushing. I don't care. This is a personality filter.
For sure.
Right. So, because ultimately, if your personality isn't good and your character isn't good, then we can't go anywhere. Right.
Right. Exactly.
99% of companies, if you look on Craigslist, Indeed, they look for skill first, and they'll say things like I did. Okay. That's the big mistake.
Yeah. Right.
You know that. Right. I mean, you know that from either experience or just, obviously
it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. So
that's why I'm big on personality. Like, I mean, dude, this is not a hard job. You know that. Like, if you have a good personality and you can find other people that have a good personality, it's like, dude, you can bring these people in and they can figure out how to, they can get trained how to paint. Like, painting is not hard,
not hard. And that's what we worked on.
Personality is hard.
100%. Yeah. You can't listen. I always say this. You can't change personality. You can't teach character. You can teach painting. Don't try to teach character.
Yep. I've tried that. It's not worth it. I don't even waste my time anymore.
I tried to coach character. I tried to, it's something they need to learn before they come into your house.
100%.
And then from there you can grow. So here's where we're at. We have this really good personality based ad that tells people exactly what we're looking for. Then we need an internal application that has the skill-based questions, right?
Sure.
Why do we need that? So we can filter out those applicants and put them in our 1, 2, and 3 bucket. So we can say, okay, well, this guy would be a good number 1. This guy would be a good 2. Okay, this guy's no experience. He'd be a good 3, right? So now you know what you're looking for. You have applicants, and now you know what to ask when you talk to those applicants to ensure that they align with those 1, 2, and 3 values that we outlined. So let me give you an example. If somebody makes it through here, which they will, and they fill out the application and they go through and they hit all of the skill-based qualifications, they can spray, they can brush, they can roll. And don't get me wrong, we're going to ask some personality questions on this form. But let's say you try to call them and they don't answer the phone. No problem. You send them an email and say, hey, I'd like to speak with you for a phone interview. I'd like to take this to the next level in terms of what our hiring process is. They don't answer, again, and then maybe 3 days later, they send you an email. Hey, I'm still interested. Okay, no problem. And in that email you sent them, you say, well, what's the best phone number to reach you? But they didn't tell you what the best phone number to reach you was. Even though you have it, you did that just to see if they were going to read it and follow the directions.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
See? I do things like that on purpose. I have their phone number. I want to know, did you read this email? And are you committed? They'll say, yes, I'm still interested. Okay. So at that point in time, I've already made my mind up. The person doesn't communicate well and they don't follow directions.
Right.
I don't even got to meet that guy.
Yep.
Waste of time. Right. Next guy. I send an email right away. I get an email back within an hour. If somebody really wants a job, dude, that's all they're on.
Oh yeah, that's all they're going to focus on. They're going to be like, "Why isn't this guy emailing me back? I just emailed him." You know?
So absolutely. So yes, I'm interested. You know, you can call me at this number anytime, right? That's a good applicant, right? Somebody that's on it, communicates well, right? Cool. So, but that doesn't mean we just hire them, right? I mean, that's just one part. And some people at this point will stop because they're not tied to their system. You got it. The system will produce good results. There's been times, dude, where I took my process all the way to the last moment and then had to make the decision, let somebody go because they didn't fulfill it. But had I been lazy and had I just been desperate, that person would have stayed and could have caused greater problems.
Right. Exactly.
So now we're at a point where we say, okay, now phone interview time, right? Phone interview is 5 to 10 minutes. Here's what I'm looking for. When they answer the phone, are they just waking up? You know, it's 12 o'clock. Are you sleeping?
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's not what I want. I want somebody that has some energy on the phone.
Yeah. I want somebody that's up at 4:30, 5 a.m. ready to rock and roll, you know?
No, they don't got to be that early, but you know, like these are things that I'm looking for because ultimately, like I'm paying attention to subtleties that they're not even aware of, but I'm picking up. My radar's cooking, dude.
Right.
What's that answer like? Is it, hello, this is, or hello? Like, or is it, hello, dude? I've gotten those, dude. The hello, you know, or hey, you know, hey, I'm coming hard. Hey, this is Tanner with Premium Painting, just reaching out to you for our phone interview. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, right. You know, or hey, thank you for calling. You know, oh, okay, great. You know, like, you know, so right then and there, dude, I'll cut that interview so short. Oh, awesome, man. All right, well, you know, I'll ask 2 questions and I'll get out of there. If I don't like them, if I like them, I keep going. My time's way more valuable than 100%. To sit on the phone with an unmotivated individual. Okay.
Yep.
Now, here's what I'm asking in the phone interview. I'm asking, what's your motivation? What's moving you aside from money? That's my number one question. I'll find a way to ask that question one way or another. Okay. And they're not expecting it. So when you ask a question that they're not expecting, you're going to get the realest answer.
For sure.
Some people say, oh, well, you know, I'm just, you know, looking, you know, to make some money. I'm, you know, if I hear money out, I want to know that there's something outside of money that's motivating you. My kids, my family, you know, a better life, anything other than money. I like you. If you've crossed that boundary of money, I like you. Okay. Then we're going to talk a little bit about skill. I'm going to reference the application. Okay. Step 3, right? I always mention in this, even though that it says it on our form, hey, we do conduct a background check. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you'd like to mention to me? Just like that.
That's one of the first questions that I ask people, and they automatically eliminate themselves right off the rip.
Right off the dude.
Like within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, can you pass a background check? Do you have a driver's license? And does your car work? Like those 3 things right there, dude. And like 99% of people are out already, you know?
Right. And that's part of your filtering out process. That's what we're doing. We need as many people as we can to fit inside of our funnel. That's what we pay for. It's a funnel, and you funnel them in and then they filter out. And then hopefully at the end of this conveyor belt, you pop out a really awesome employee.
Yeah.
You know, so from there, now we've said yes to the background check. You've maybe done a quick Google search, whatever, you know, maybe look at their social media to see if they're posting anything crazy, if you can find them. I've done that. I've seen people post crazy things. What's that?
Don't look at my social media.
You're the business owner.
Anyway, right, exactly.
you're not under the spotlight. But
no, I'm not.
The idea is to look at theirs, see if they're posting outrageous things. Ask yourself this.
It is true, yeah, because it's like, are they going to be talking about this nonsense all day long? You know,
if they're like, think about it this way: if you know they sound great on the phone, remember you're getting people's best self. Like you're getting their best self right now, right? But guess what? Like any relationship, you're married, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. In the beginning of your relationship, you were an all-star, right?
Of course.
You wanted to, you know, like all of us.
My wife's here, so don't say anything too crazy.
I won't say anything crazy. But listen, like we all were, like we do
right.
Anything you want, open a door, like, but
right.
as time goes on, we get a little bit comfortable.
For sure.
We just got to make sure that comfortability is still a reflection of the beginning stages,
Absolutely.
not a complete change.
Right.
So just remember and be aware that they're going to BS you.
For sure.
So our job is to find the BS, because they want a job, they need a job, and
right.
They're going to give you their best self. So you're doing this phone interview. You invite them to do an in-person interview. Now, for me, I did a Zoom meeting. I like them. If that's something you want to do, I think it's actually a cool thing, because you see their environment, you see how they act. I had a guy yesterday, I did a Zoom interview. Dude, within 20 seconds of speaking to me, he whips out a cigarette, dude, and just starts huffing a cigarette during our interview, as if like we're just two friends chatting.
Right.
This guy's been unemployed for 4 months.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because of 6 months because of COVID. And he's just hacking a cigarette, got a tank top on. Like, we're just like friends. And I'm thinking, if he subconsciously or unconsciously did that with me, all I'm thinking is a homeowner standing outside with him having a conversation, and him pulling out a cigarette and just hacking a cigarette in front of my customer.
Right.
Okay. The guy passed all those channels. I'm giving you a real live example here. He went from the ad, he did the form, we had a phone interview, all sounded great. He was enthusiastic on the phone. Guess what? When we did that Zoom interview, I lost it. I was like, he's out. I can't have it. Right. He ruined it. If he didn't do that, he'd be working for us 100%.
Yeah. And it's true, because I smoke. I'm a smoker. But it's like I also have guidelines on like where I smoke and where I don't smoke, when I smoke,
100%.
when I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying?
I've had guys that have smoked. That's not a disqualification.
No, it's not. But I'll tell you what, there is a lot of customers that are like, I don't want people coming in here smelling like a stinky cigarette, stinking up my house. Like, I don't want to be smelling these guys all day.
But the fact of the matter is that this was a formal interview.
Right.
And
he did it on that, which is good. And that's for you just pulled the plug.
For me, he wouldn't have done that in person. No way. Right. But he thought that the standard was that low that he could do that and that would be acceptable.
Terrible.
To me, unfortunately, he's not a good fit. Right.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So thankfully, I stuck to my guns, even though, remember what I'm saying, I was in desperation. I needed to make a hire, but I chose not to. This week, we have one more spot that we need to fill. I filled 2. I need 1. I would have loved to have another set of hands on the jobs this week. I could have said, you know what, whatever. But no, I have to stick to my process, because I know that my process produces consistent results. Right. That's going to be the tough part. So going now, let's say that this individual makes a good impression, like my other 2 from the week prior. Okay, this is how it's going to work. Now, what you're doing is creating the system to them to say, hey, you have to earn this. This isn't like, you don't just get to come and paint. Yeah. So here's how it works. I'm going to send you an email. You're going to fill out the information for a background check. If anything comes back, unfortunately, we'll pull the opportunity away. You have a 1-week working interview. And on Friday, we will discuss if you're a good fit for us. If so, we'll offer employment, right? So it's like these 2 things, hold them accountable. We expect you to be on time every day. 1 day late, you're out.
Right.
You have the ability to set those standards right off the gun.
Right.
Okay. And another thing that I want to make a very, very important point on. Okay. This is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Do not make friends with your applicants until at least 2 months, and I'm not saying like you can't be friendly. I'm just saying that like they're in a trial period, you got to be okay severing the relationship right there. Right. And I love my team, dude. Family. Yep. At this point, family. Any one of my 6 that I told you about, that if I had to let go, it would cause me to lose sleep.
Sure.
Because that's how much I care about these individuals and how much, we all work together, man. Sure. The other 3 the 2 that I just hired and the 1, dude, I cut them quicker than I wouldn't even care. I don't even get close to them. Everything's so professional.
Right.
Hey, I need this. Did you do this? Did you do this? We're not chatting.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a guy that just got engaged. I called from one of my 6. I called him. He just got engaged. Congratulations. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. That type of relationship is what I have with my guys. Yeah. These other 3, don't talk to me.
Right.
You don't know me yet.
Yep.
I don't know you. So we set that early because, again, I want to wean them out. Even though they secured the position, let's see how comfortable they get. Let's make sure that what they showed me week 1 is the same.
And I've seen that before, like where it's, not even really like not even trying to be really friends with people, but people that just come in and they're way too comfortable. And I'm like, why are you so comfortable like right now? Like you just got here and you're comfortable
too
already.
Comfortable.
Like,
right. Yeah. Putting the toothbrush in the bathroom. Right.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
So, but I'll tell you this, another major point, and I've been a general manager of 2 restaurants.
Okay.
I have management experience, and I was young. Sure. I was 20 years old. I couldn't even drink.
Right.
I was the youngest guy in the building. All the servers, bartenders were all older than me. Yep. I didn't care, dude. Like I was the type of guy, everyone partied after work. Everyone went to go drink. Everyone did all this stuff. I never hung out with my employees ever. Right. The moment you cross that boundary, okay, take it how you want. Some people get offended. I don't care. The moment you cross that boundary, there you go. You've now put yourself in a very, very tough position to make business decisions.
Yep.
I've never once hung out with any of my painting employees. Never once. Okay. Besides, I have one guy that I went to high school with that when I was younger, we hung out, but ever since he became an employee,
right.
That's it. You know? And that's just because I know what happens is that they feel like they can compromise because, he hung out. Yeah. Oh, we had a drink, whatever. Like it's not whatever. This is business. Right. It's my livelihood. 100%. My livelihood isn't worth, so there's got to be some barrier there. There has to be, so, and you have a unique position with you being by yourself. Anyone you bring in, they should have some level of fear, not because of the personality based fear, but fear is like, he doesn't know me and I want to impress him.
Right. That's what I want. I want people to impress me. Like, I want to be impressed. Why don't, I always look at that as like, why aren't other people out there trying to impress other people? Like, you should be trying to impress somebody else.
100%. Well, the reason why, again, is because they didn't earn it, right? So what I'm helping you see is that this process produces individuals that hold this to a high standard. I said to someone the other day, I'm like, you want to be the business that the guy goes to his wife and says, honey, I got the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You don't want to be the business that says, we'll see how it goes with this company, right? You want to be the business that's a celebration, not a settlement.
Right, for sure. Okay? Yep.
You want dinner to be served differently. You want the wine bottle to come out because Screaming Eagle hired him at $30 an hour. And he likes you and he thinks that you have the opportunity to help him grow personally, right? Yep. You've got to create that. If you don't create that feeling, it doesn't exist. Right. How do you do it? You go through a system. So let's say they go through that week, right? Well, guess what? Friday comes around, you have that sit down or you chat with them on the job and say, hey, listen, man, you kicked butt this week. I want to offer you the full-time employment, okay? Now, in the beginning with you and one guy, it's not as special, right?
Right.
But the other 2 individuals, when they're trying to impress a team rather than just one person, then it becomes special, right? So my guys, right, the 2 I brought in, they're getting thrown into an operation. There's already 3 guys on each crew that look at them and say, hey, you got to step up, right? They're all holding that person accountable. Yep. So it's more of an accomplishment at that point, and that'll happen.
I like that. I like how you operate down there, man.
Yeah. I built my business to free myself. I'm able to sit here, have a great conversation with you, knowing that 2 jobs are going on. I don't got to do anything if I don't want to today.
Yeah. And it's a great feeling. It really is,
It's the American dream.
It is. It's
amazing. But it comes with, like, if somebody said, Tanner, what's the secret? It's hiring, dude. It's the people you have watching your business while you're not present, taking care of your customers.
Yep.
So this is why I'm going so granular with this topic for you is because there's no other way to do it.
No, there's not. And it's already, it's one of those things that I've already realized that it is the most important aspect of, this business and my business is I need fantastic employees, dude. Yeah. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like there's so many bodies out there that want to work. Like I know that I can just take the time that I need and actually go through this process that you're helping me with and actually find a solid, at minimum, at least find my number 1 guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. Because that guy is the most important because it, like we talked about earlier, it's going to allow me to go out and find more work, which is going to turn around. It's going to help my business grow to where I can get a number 2 guy now and a number 3 guy. So the number 1 guy is not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I want to make this a team. I want to make it a proper operating.
You got it. And you'll finally be able to be a screaming eagle.
Right, exactly. I'm just still an eagle.
You're still an eagle, but you can't move.
I'm still an eagle.
Right?
I just, and that's one of those things, like eagles fly alone, but it's like, man, if we could get a team of eagles together, that'd be serious.
But what I'm looking for really for you is to be able to leave that job, bro, and to get to a point where you don't have to work. You don't have to go like on day 3 of a 3-day job where, you can put your number 2 or number 1 and say, hey man, you guys finish this one. Yep. Do you know how good of a feeling that would be?
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that?
I have. Yeah. Early last year, or 2020, late 2020, it'd be like, hey, like you guys are finishing this job, or you guys are going here on this job, and they finish it out. But then it's like, I always ran into problems. So it's like, I already know what it's like to like touch the gold at the end of the rainbow, but it's like, I couldn't keep the rainbow going.
Yeah.
My own fault. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's like, I know we talked about last time, is like, I kind of shut this whole thing down, and now I'm trying to reprogram it better.
Reprogram it. And now you're doing it with a niche, because again, now, like, here's the thing though, now that we have a niche, then we, like, in the same way we have a system for hiring, we need a system for production.
Right.
And that is only, like, you're the gatekeeper. You're the person that only allows certain jobs for your guys' skill set. If you go ahead and decide that you want to take on a full popcorn removal and a full wallpaper removal, guess who's going to be on the job?
Yeah.
You.
Me.
You're going to have to. Like, so when you're bidding those, you got to say, am I going to have to be here? You know? And the goal is for you not to be. So we got to this point now where you are taking somebody through this process. Let's say you find them, right? Now, the big thing that occurs, and some people get to this point, bro, the big thing that occurs is that they say, okay, I got the person. Now let's get to work, right? Instead of, okay, now I need to find number 2. Now I need to find number 3, even though you might think, well, I don't have enough work for number 2 or number 3. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you can always find more work. There's always more work, There's always more work, and there's always the ability for you to take less of a profit to get your system running. For sure. And that's what I'm trying to do right now.
So, but that comes with knowing your numbers, dude. Everything is so connected, right? You got to know your numbers so you know how much you can pay, and you know how much you can manipulate your pricing, so you can make sure that your guys have work to keep the system going. Then when you have work, you raise your prices, and like, dude, it's like a nonstop system. But once you build momentum, once you have this system working, dude, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So I think we covered it, man. I want to ask you, where do you stand with questions? Do you have any questions about this process, or what's next, or did this help? Was this helpful?
No, yeah, this was definitely helpful, because it was one of those things, like, sometimes I tell myself that I know what I need to do, but it's like, it's good talking to a guy like you that's, successful running another painting business. That's like, dude, let me reassure you that what you're doing is right, but here's a little bit of a different avenue that, you can take. And I like that. So I think really, I'm always going to have questions, but I think, really my biggest thing on this is just honestly putting in the work. Like, I need to get on Indeed. I need to make an account there. I'm going to go on ZipRecruiter. I've tried the Facebook thing. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's like
2 guys I got actually came from Facebook.
Did they? Yeah. Cause it's like, I used to
put out 250. What's that?
I said, I used to get all my work on Facebook. So I figured if I can get all my work on Facebook, why can't I get people on Facebook?
It is, remember, but here's the thing. That's where our application comes in. Our internal application comes in that protects us from random people. They have to go through our funnel, then they have to get filtered, and then they get contacted, right? So like this system that we create allows us to do that. So, really what I want to kind of close on here with your situation is just know that, there's no rush to hiring and building your business. Your business is actually people, right? Because
100%.
Ultimately, that's what you sell to the market. You're selling production. You're selling an experience. If you were just a new construction guy, like the GC could care less if the painter has a good attitude. Right.
That's why I don't work for builders. Like I do not work for builders. Dude, builders call me and I don't even answer the phone. As soon as they say their name, like on the voicemail, I'm like, I ain't fucking calling this guy back.
No, absolutely not. No, there's no way. I don't call them either. And I try to tell them that I'm not interested, and they keep emailing me.
It's unfortunate, like it really is, but it's like,
it's not though. They created that by being so cheap.
They created that environment for themselves.
They created that. If they weren't so cheap, I mean, that's what was created. But people pay more for an experience.
Yep.
And a couple other points I want to make. When you build this all-star group of unicorns, you have so much confidence when you go into an estimate that, like, dude, you sell the job because you're so excited for your customer to meet your team.
Right.
Okay. So that's what you need to be thinking when you're doing these interviews. Is this somebody that I want to introduce to my family member, my customer?
Sure. Yep.
Is this somebody that I'm excited to say he's going to do a great job for you?
Right.
And when I go to estimates, I say, you're going to love Louis and his team.
Right.
You're going to love Shamel. He does a great job of making sure everything is prepped, and he's so detailed. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's a lot different.
Right. That's a lot different than the situations that I've been in. And I'm like, oh God, I hope they don't screw this job up, you know, because that's a lot of the time. It's like, oh God, this is going to be bad, you know.
But how does that, but you want somebody. I had a long guy come over, bro, and give me an estimate. And like, he was just really just so confident about his team. And it was like an easy decision. Obviously it's just lawn, but when it comes to painting, you have somebody that says, listen, my team is great. And you start name dropping Jose, John, Steve, you start doing that, then it becomes personal. And then when people feel that, they build trust, and then they hand you money.
Sure.
Okay. Rather than the other estimate that comes in that says, hey, well, we use subcontractors and I'll be overseeing it. I don't know the names of the guys, but I'll be sure.
They're supposed to be here. Right.
They're supposed to be here different. Right. So and then we get into sales and separating ourselves. But dude, I gave it to you. I think that if you implement these strategies and you create that structure, use that piece of paper that we drew the system on, that's what you're looking for. Don't stop till you get it. Don't matter you hire somebody. I love it. You got notes. I love it.
Can see it,
and that's the reality of the situation.
Scratch, but
that's all right. I can read it. My notes are a mess, but the reality of the situation is, Eric, don't stop until you get that system. We'll go back real quick to the franchise mentality that we had. It was like, if I sold you my company, a licensed agreement where I said, this is how premium painting operates, I would give you 30 days to get 3 guys underneath you, or else you would be you wouldn't be fulfilling the demands of the corporate structure, and you would be in violation of our terms. I would say you have 30 days to fill your team of 3. And from our data, it says that you need to find 50 applicants. You need to do 25 phone interviews. You need to do 10 in-person interviews, and you need to make 3 hires.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That might be what we would say is how you attain these guys. And you have to pay, like you said, $30 for the best guy, 18 to 20 for the second best guy, 15 to 17 for the apprentice.
Just how it goes.
Just how it goes. So that's what we want to create, man. Thank you, bro. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, thank you. No, I really do appreciate it, dude. You've been a wealth of knowledge here for me recreating this wheel, So I'm glad we linked up. I'm sure we'll be doing another one.
We got to, man. We'll keep it going until you're running 2 crews and you're on the beach.
Yeah, I'll be down there on the beach with you in Florida.
That's nice. Come on, man. I thought we talked about it. We got to get down here. We're painting year round, man. I don't deal with snow, just rain.
Right. No, yeah, I'm sick of it. Like, I live in my RV, but it's like I give people a quick little view here. It's like It's not great outside still, it's cold, it's dreary, like.
So you're on the move, man. You could just ride down here.
Yeah, no, legit. That's why I live in this thing, dude. I'll just
beat it. You're on the go.
Gone. My wife calls me a gypsy.
What's wrong with it, man? It's my mom always wanted to travel in an RV, and does it get a little cluster?
Life. It really is. It affords us to do a lot of other things that we wouldn't be able to do. In this situation. So maybe we will be down in Florida. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. We'll have to connect.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna get work.
Hey, I just want to take a second to thank you for joining me here on the Contractor Secrets podcast. I'm just going to take this opportunity to let you know that my passion is coaching people, helping people. I've changed my Instagram name to @contractorcoach. And I did that because that is my passion. I want to help you. So please reach out to me. If you have an issue going on in your business, send me an email, find me on Instagram, message me, and let's do a breakthrough session. I want to work through your problems in your business to help you get to that next level. And one thing that I always say is this, the difference between those that get over the humps and the hurdles in business is just a change in perspective. And that's what I plan to offer you. So get with me, message me, allow me to help you take your business to the next level.